The Chicago Bulls don't suck. I can't believe it. While there are clear issues with this team that are worthy of note that we're going to talk about in this video, as there kind of are with any non-contender level team, they are clearly leaps and bounds better than what they used to be, and that is fantastic. However, as a Bulls fan never truly capable of allowing himself to be happy, I'm seeing some people within the fan base and without both drastically overrating and underrating this team. There are people acting like this is a team that can actually contend, but on the other end of the spectrum, there are people acting like this is a good start record-wise, but it's just a fluke. It seems like, depending on who you ask, the Bulls are either a play-in team or they are a conference finals team and even potentially a fucking finals team. And I feel like the complete opposite end of those spectrums, it's weird that it's that drastically different. So let's talk about the Chicago Bulls and how good they actually are. Before I continue on with this video, about half of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed, so if you've fallen at 50%, then please subscribe. Also drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second and makes a massive difference. I'm trying to hit 200k subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so if you could please do me a favor and subscribe, it would be much appreciated. I realize a lot of you are hearing this right now and you're not subscribing. Please do it. I'm not gonna stop saying it. I have to say it in every video. That's the game, but you know, I'd appreciate it. What excites me about talking about the Bulls every time, even when it's negative, is because it's my team, I feel more qualified to talk about them than literally any other aspect of the game, period. Just because when I watch Bulls games, I am laser focused on every minute detail. That's not gonna happen with any other team in the league. Sometimes I try to do it, but like I'm just not as invested in the result, so I'm not gonna be able to hyper fixate on things. But with the Bulls, I can harp on every detail, and this video could be 50 minutes long if I really wanted it to be. So that said, let's talk about the Bulls. What I find most interesting about this Bulls team right now is it feels a little opposite in terms of the spectrum of offense to defense. Like, their offense is still good, but it seems like defense is the main catalyst in their success right now. And even as someone who was constantly preaching that the Bulls defense would be better than some people were saying, I didn't expect them to be as good as they are. This team has been great on defense, and while their offensive rating is good, their offense has felt rough around the edges. They're 5th in defense and 8th in offense, those being offensive and defensive rating. To be honest, I was surprised that they were 8th in offense, because watching the team, there are a lot of games and a lot of moments where the offense looks way rougher than it should for the personnel that they have, but I guess the personnel that they have has persisted. I'll tell you right now, the offense does not look like it's a top 10 offense in the NBA. Right now, the offense is DeMar and a Zach LaVine carry job, with Vujovic constantly missing open shots, Lonzo having a different level of involvement from a game-to-game basis, and the rest of the offense coming from random bursts from role players. As of right now, DeMar has been the Bulls' best player because he cannot miss from mid-range, and after a bad start finishing, he has been great since, and he's even hitting three-pointers. Zach has been bad shooting the ball as of late because of a thumb injury clearly affecting his shooting ability, but the guy has been great driving wise still, and he's been able to generate his points that way. As mentioned earlier, Nikola Vujovic has fucking sucked on offense, and that's honestly the reason why this team's offense feels not nearly as good as it should be, because there are constantly open looks for Vujovic that should be offense, should be scoring, and he's just missing them. He has had a comical amount of open jump shots off of the pick and pop, and even a good handful of bunnies around the rim that he has just missed. Honestly, the Bulls might be the best offense in basketball if he just hit his open shots at the rate that he had for his whole career to open this year. Lonzo has been honestly a bit disappointing offensively. His playmaking in the half court is non-existent. Now, I understand that that is not his strong suit as a playmaker. However, I think people over-exaggerate that to the point of acting like he has no playmaking ability in the half court. Just because he doesn't have a whole lot of scoring gravity, he still makes plays in the half court, but hasn't really been given that opportunity with the Bulls. The ball is in Zach and DeMar's hands so much that he's not really getting that option. 2 more notes on the offense. Alex Caruso has been way overused as a ball handler. He is fine in those areas. However, him being the primary handler at any point when you have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball on your team, any of those 3 should be playing at all times, and with them on the floor, they need to be the main ball handler, not Alex Caruso. And the last note on the offense is I think Coby White is going to be fantastic on this team. Offensively, I think the only thing that they could really add outside of Vujovic just hitting his open shots is a spark plug and a shooter. Coby is both of those things. The weaknesses in his game and his offensive game and his playmaking are going to stand out as significantly less than they had before when he's in a role that only really caters to his strength. He's going to get a lot of jump shots. He's going to have some opportunity to shot create, but not be relied on to be the second best shot creator on the team. And that's just going to allow the consequence of him being bad to be significantly less than it used to be and give him more opportunity than ever to be good. I'm actually excited about Coby White this year when he comes back and is healthy. Now on the defensive end of things, I think even I underestimated how many great defensive wings this team has. On top of the fact that they of course have both Lonzo and Caruso who have been unbelievable defensively. But guys like Derrick Jones Jr., Javonte Green, who's a huge surprise, and Troy Brown have all been really impactful on that end. And then the other two factors have been the coaching on defense as well as Nikola Vujovic. One thing that has driven me crazy about the Vujovic talk is, yes, be critical of his offense. His offense has been bad. However, a lot of people have turned that from, oh my God, Vucovic's offense is so bad, to, wow, his offense is bad, then what does he bring to the table because he doesn't play defense? When Vujovic is like top 10 in defensive rating right now, and not as a total fluke. Reputation has way too much of an influence as to whether or not a player is perceived as a good defensive player. And Vujovic has a bad reputation defensively, but he's been good defensively the last 2 years, and especially in the current Bulls defensive scheme. People still say that Marcus Smart is like one of the best defenders in the league when he hasn't been in a year and a half, so that just proves my point. Vuce in this scheme has been great because he isn't fully dropping, nor is he fully stepping up, which might sound bad, but he is managing to step up enough to prevent a clean pull-up while not giving the lane to the roll man, and he has also been playing the pass a ton. He is currently averaging 1.4 steals a game, and really that just speaks to the defensive scheme overall that has emphasized getting steals. This team is 9th in steals per game when last year they were 28. And really it just feels like there's more energy to this team's defense than there's ever been. You're seeing moments where guys who are not traditionally defensive players are locking in themselves, like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. They have been going hard on defense when that's never been their reputation. It really feels like Billy Donovan has preached constantly defensive effort, defensive effort, defensive effort, and you see that on the floor. But the defense is good, the offense is good, though it does have some rough edges, and they're top 10 in both of these categories. So what is the ceiling for this team? Well, a couple of games in, honestly, my thoughts have not changed much from what I perceived this team to be at the start of the season, at the preseason, all of that, what I thought this team would be. I think this is a top 10 team, but not a top 5 team. A good playoff team, but not a contender. I'm confident this team will finish as a top 6 seed and not a play-in level team, but I'm also confident that if they played the Bucks or the Nets in a playoff matchup, both of those teams would handle the Bulls relatively easily. So I think this pretty much exactly what I thought this team would be before is exactly what's happening. There's been some differences on the floor, but in terms of just how good this team is, the Bulls are pretty much exactly in line with my expectations thus far, which is good because I can say, as I mentioned in the intro, as a Bulls fan and capable of being happy, I was like, okay, the expectations are to be a good team. This team is going to be terrible just because there's no logic for this team to be bad. But there's no reason for them to be good because the Bulls have literally never been good since I was 15 years old. So it's nice to see that's happening. It's nice that the Bulls are good. I don't give a fuck that they're not a contender level team. I don't know, people are giving them shit sometimes for like, they need to do this to become a contender. I don't care. I'm just happy the team's good, and I'm gonna be okay with that for a while. All right. So shout out to Rudy for editing this video. That's the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.